Hello and welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be reviewing none other than American Gangster. So this is my pick and it's going to be a good time. Watch with us.
Frank Lucas is the most dangerous man walking the streets of our city.
No black man has accomplished what the American Mafia hasn't in 100 years.
We got a problem, man.
We can go anywhere we want.
And do what? Run, hide? This is my home. This is where my business is, my wife, my mother, my family. This is my country. I ain't going nowhere. I got Harlem. I took care of Harlem. So Harlem's gonna take care of me.
I took care of Harlem, so Harlem's going to take care of me. Man, one of the most powerful scenes in that whole movie. Anyway, joining me tonight is none other than the rest of the crew, ladies and gentlemen, the executive consultant and my man, which was said many times throughout this movie. How you doing, fellas? What's going on? All right.
First
Here
of
we
all,
are.
he got me in that horrible rendition of me. I guess he had to get me back from all them times I did bad pictures of him on stuff. He got me. I'm just sitting there frozen on a video.
That's hilarious.
No, it's your service. It's your internet service.
Never.
It was
Never.
playing. It was playing. I'm telling you, it was playing.
No.
I'll get you back another way. But I got. You know what? Shout out to Vic and Mike, the original Supercut team. I got some more Supercuts coming very, very soon. Not of y'all too, but I got some more Supercuts coming.
You love having material to make fun of us, don't you?
You know, James asked me on Tuesday. No, Rashad asked me, when am I going to make a supercut of me? I said, I don't say or do anything over and over and over again, but if y'all point it out, I'll do it. I'm not exempt. Good luck.
All right, we'll see about that. Make that make sense comes to mind.
I don't say it a lot during the shows though, so good luck. Good luck.
Está bien. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Know what I mean?
facts. Thank you for joining us tonight while we talk about American Gangster. American Gangster is my pick. Why? Because in the late 2000s, I was stuck on this movie. This movie was great. You know, it really depends on your perspective, but I really thought that the story, because at least at that point, I heard a lot about Bumpy Johnson. So with this movie, it was starting with Bumpy Johnson, but then it pretty much just continued on to Frank Lucas's story. And until that time, I had never really heard about Frank Lucas or anything that he had done. I had heard the names Nicky Barnes, Bumpy Johnson, things like that, you know, people from Harlem that were just big in the drug game. And pretty much just very influential people. Now, the one thing that caught my eye with Frank Lucas's story was just his ability to create a business without having to use any of the traditional measures or having to go through any traditional hoops. Like he literally just went to the source and started business himself. Kind of like, you know, you don't have to buy the lemons. You could just go straight to the lemon tree type of thing and make the lemonade. So I found that whole thing very intriguing. I found it inspirational. And the drama in this movie was just crazy, just starting from, oh, very nice. Yeah. And, you know, and look how he brought his family once he made money and then tried to big up his family. This was great. But the other part of it was the cop. played by Russell Crowe. Richie.
Maximus.
Oh, word. Maximus from
Gladiator.
Facts. So now the interesting about this character is that he is such a Boy Scout. Like what he is what, like, you know, cops I guess are supposed to be. But the guy is just such a Boy Scout that he found $1 million in the trunk of a car and heroin money and turned it in. Right. So what was interesting about that is that his partner, you know, did what most people would do and just took a little piece, turned in the rest, and that's it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, just to add to the drama of the story, his partner was a heroin addict. So it's like, you know, how you got junkies in the PD.
Do you think he became a junkie before? Or you think he was a junkie in the beginning or after everything went down and they became leopards, as they would say? Because I don't know. I don't think he was a drug addict until, because remember they were ostracized for being this way. So I don't think he turned. I don't think he was this way in the beginning. Just a thought. I was wondering what you thought.
I don't know. He gave me the junkie vibes the whole time. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, and truth be told, like I remember Harlem in the 1980s. I remember the things on the floor. Like I remember the crack epidemic. I remember when people were strung out in the streets. I mean, there still are, but not nowhere near to that amount. Like this guy, like the thing about this stuff is that, like, you know, they kind of glorify a lot of the achievements and as far as like the money making and all of that, but the damage was real. Like the damage in the streets was real. And that you can understand why, you know, they went after him. And I'm not, mind you, this scene right here was one of my favorites because from the first time seeing it, it was shocking. Like that was just some ballsy shit. You couldn't get away with that now because, I mean, damn. And shout out to Denzel Washington because he made this role so memorable. You know what I mean? To this day, I think people still mention it and say things about it. You know,
what role don't Denzel do that in?
No, but I mean, but the funny thing is that like if somebody drops something on a carpet now, it's always coming back to you know what I mean. That's $5,000 alpaca. You block that shit.
You block that shit.
Everybody's looking
$5,000 alpaca.
Everybody's looking for a reason to say that. Like, you know what I mean? like, for a long time, people have been looking. You say, yeah, right there. You even got the clip and everything. So, anyway, I'm talking too much but the point is, I really like this movie clearly because I picked it. You know, but it's a lot of drama. It's a good time, and it really tells a really, really good story. I think it's one of Denzel's greatest achievements. I mean, mind you, this movie made the rounds. I mean, even Jay-Z made an album of this movie. Like
the whole album was to this movie.
Yeah. So like, I mean, like, yeah, man, this movie was popping. Like, I mean, I got enough to say about it because this was just great. And no, you know what else was great? When right after he got married and the cop came, you know, the Italian cop that came that runs everything. He came and then Frank Lucas just straight up blew up his car. Like that was just some gangster. Like, I'm telling you, bro. Like, this guy.
He said, "Happy Thanksgiving." How, where's the Shelby? You know what I'm saying? He said, "Find you in the." We say that for quotables. I think this movie had a bunch of quotables. Executive consulting, your thoughts on this film?
What happened to the background? Interesting. I don't know. I'm having technical difficulties over here. It's not showing anything in the background, but I see it. All right, so let me tell you what I love about this movie, right?
He's making fun.
Denzel Washington killed this role, but what a surprise that Denzel Washington would kill this role, right? As Mike said about 3 minutes ago, what movie does he make this not memorable? I consider him to be a male equivalent, and this is no disrespect to Denzel or the person I'm about to mention, but a male equivalent of Viola Davis, because in my opinion, Viola Davis kills every single role she does.
Facts.
This movie was almost made for Denzel Washington, and he plays an anti-hero. Understand what I mean when I say that, okay? Because this man was very ruthless. He was not a good guy at all, right? Beating up his family members, killing people in cold blood.
They deserve to get their asses whooped, though.
At times, and then other times you went a little too far with it. The guy got his head beat with the piano. Okay, it was pretty brutal. All right,
he shot somebody at a party in front of open witness people in his house.
Okay, so teach him a lesson, but he literally, you heard the sound of his skull cracking at one of those times.
That was the wood from the grand piano, I thought.
Okay, what about his bro having the material in the trunk, and he's like,
his brother deserves to get his ass beat for that. I'm sorry. If you live the life, there's things you do not do.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about somebody who has not lived a life.
Okay, well, that's why I'm trying to explain to you.
You're never gonna do that again.
I'm the man. You got to come pick me up. You say, Frank, there's an emergency. You come scoop me, right? So you should have already said, hold on, I got something in the car. Let me take that out the car first, before you even left the house. So then you pull off with the stuff in the car, and then when we get pulled over, go, oh, I'm sorry, Frank. I got some. You have to tell Frank beforehand, hey, I got something in the car, I'm gonna take it out. At worst, that's all you do. Hey, I got it in the car. Do I take it out or leave it in the car? So Frank can say who's the boss. We either gonna leave it in the car or we going without it. He put his boss in a bad situation, which is the whole thing about what Frank's whole thing was, is not being seen, not being in the limelight. But I'm sorry, it's just Sean. But that I just have to explain that part to you about, you know, why they got their asses whooped, because they deserve to get their asses whooped. That's all I want you to know. That's it.
I'm a humanitarian. I don't believe that for a second. Okay, I can't fade that. I'm sorry, it was killing me not seeing it. But
it never left.
And I know it never left, but it wasn't on my screen. Okay, now it's on my screen. So I just love the acting in this movie. I just thought it was very well done. It was based on true stories, true events. Now, of course, you know, tweets a lot, right? Tweets a lot, from what I understand, but still very good from beginning to end. This man is somebody outside beating his family member's ass. I'm not getting over that. You can spin it all you want. I appreciated him buying his mother a house. I always love that. Whether it's real or not, I always love seeing somebody take care of their moms. Right? Tugs the heartstrings. That's one. Two, him say, this ain't it. I don't work for nobody. I want to work for myself. I love it. Going over to whatever that place was, Vietnam, and getting the stuff that he needed, making it pure, selling it at a wholesale. It was really, really good. Seeing that story and acted out was very, very good. The fact that he was what did you said you knew about before? I forgot. Bumpy
Johnson.
He took Bumpy Johnson's Robin Hood story, because it was funny how one scene he just killed somebody with set him on fire, and the next scene he's giving out turkeys. Right? Yeah. Good for him. He took that and amplified it, and I did appreciate that. I'm going to eat, and that's how I feel. So I feel like we're kindred spirits outside of not beating my family members' ass. But I feel like we're kindred spirits because he said, hey, when I eat, we all eat, especially my family members, right? He took care of his family members. He took care of his mom. He took care of his brothers. He included them in there. They were like his lieutenants, clearly. He took his wife. He moved his wife and his family members all under one roof. That was really respectful of this man. And I was having a funny conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about, actually a coworker. We were talking about the difference between Trump and Obama. You know, I don't do the politics, so I'm not getting into politics now. But the one thing I will always say is that the one thing I was not a fan when it comes to Trump was how he came across on that podium in public speaking. Funny, entertaining, yes, but not presidential. Look at Obama, who's very presidential. Why? Because he had that swag. Denzel Washington had nothing but swag in this movie, and swag was popular in 2007. So he was exemplifying it in 2007. The way he walked, the way he talked, the way he moved. That's
when did swag stop being popular?
I don't know.
People don't say swag as much anymore.
Swag is.
Oh, you mean the word swag? I thought you meant just having swag. Period. Okay. All right. My bad. Because now it's Riz now, right?
No, Riz is like a different form. It's
people still say swag though.
Not as much as they used to. Not especially back in 2007. But I will also
people
say,
still say the bomb for heaven's sakes.
There's young people that are bringing back dope.
Dope, right?
Well, you know what? Everything's recycled. We were saying words in the 90s that people were saying in the 50s, and then we get over it.
No, when I actually started using the word dope for weed, I actually thought that they were talking about dope. Like, and I think get real mad at people. What you mean?
They don't know better.
Dope?
They don't know better.
Nah, I've been a few people like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. I'm like, oh,
what do my thoughts and opinion make it get a thumbs up, which is a Vic pick, and I don't think a Vic pick has gotten a thumbs up from me in quite some time. But is it? We're going to find out. Mike, did you have something to say?
Yeah, of course.
My man.
This movie is a lot of things to me. First of all, shout out to Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington again, who played in one of my other favorite films together, Virtuosity, together, where he's like Mac Headroom in the computer world, and he comes to life. That's a really dope film. If you haven't seen an early Denzel Washington, to me, as well, no one has ever did a bad job with a Denzel Washington. It's kind of hard to find one you could say he melded in on. And that's kind of words. Shout out to my man Radio, aka Nicky Barnes. Call it whatever you want to call it. It's the INC where you stop coming in my bar, telling me in my establishment, using words like what you're using, telling me about what I do at my place. Radio didn't like that. Russell Crowe, like I said, being the cowboy here, the good guy, if you will, so to speak, was just in that time. Like, I watched nothing but a lot of gangster shows, and what makes them all get away? Somewhere the police does something fucking stupid and they get off on a technicality. He wasn't going that way. He went about it. If it pissed off the U.S. Army, the military, he was out for one thing and one thing only. And what was dope about this, like you said, when this movie came out, I knew more about Bumpy Johnson than I knew about Frank Lucas. But the intrigue of this movie hyped me that which we're going to do coming up soon, Cheap Pop, but it's not. We're going to do Godfather of Harlem, where we are going to talk about the true Godfather of Harlem that was passed down to Frank Lucas, and that story and all that intercedes with Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali and the history of that man Bumpy Johnson. This film was just a lot of ways. I like how you put it to executive consultant. He was the bad guy in this. I think some people got to understand. That's why I thought the director in this movie was great, because it's that Thanksgiving scene that stands out the most for me, where they're eating nice. You see Richie's not eating nice. Then you go to how he's eating so well, but look what it's doing to the community. And you're watching overdose after overdose after overdose go by. And I look at the part where they're getting pulled over, where they're getting shaken down by Detective Trope, where the one who had his Shelby blown up, and where they pull him up over at, it's like, man, that's projects. And it looks like burnt down projects, but it wasn't. That's how bad it was from this heroin epidemic that didn't get no better with the crack epidemic of the 80s. Okay. Just so much real life, so much stuff. And it's just sad that the one thing, and this is why his brothers got their asses beat, he was under radar through everything he did. His wife gets him this coat that he did not want. When she first shows it to him, he goes, oh, that's nice. But he was kind of hinting towards her lingerie inside of it. But what a man do, we like our women, we take a gift here. And what happened? Lo and behold, that's what made him stood out. They wouldn't have seen him just in a crowd of people being in front of those big mobsters the way he does. And again, shout out to Bumpy Johnson, who, if you watch Bumpy Johnson took on the mob. And so when the U.S. Attorney General comes and says, ain't no Negro done something the mob has never done, he did do that. He did things because Bumpy was not afraid of mob. Bumpy, you can have anything you want in New York, but Harlem's going to be mine. Y'all owe me that. I did time for y'all. You're going to give me this. And he took it, and he taught Frank all these things. Just a phenomenal film, in my opinion. Great pick, Vic. Way to start off Black History Month without even knowing we were getting into Black History Month, and we did it. So I can't wait to talk about. I know we got some other movies coming up in the pipeline this month, and it's just funny that our next Thursday movie is also a Denzel Washington movie. So we're going to take our first break, come back with thumbs up, thumbs down. Hopefully, I know Vic should have some quotables up in there, and see what y'all think. We'll be right back.
30 winters ago, the war tore a hole in the sky. Only a few survived. Our only hope is in my hands. Take off the pack, nice and slow. Put that hand on me again, you won't get it back. Cursed be the ground for our sake. For out of the ground we were taken, and to the dust we shall return. I told you you weren't gonna get that back. I love this guy.
The contest has got to be about connecting with someone, connecting with the world. So we take it together?
Sure.
What happened?
I'm waiting for you to talk.
Oh, you're waiting for me. Oh, okay.
You know,
well,
it's show.
well, I do got some quotes here, but let me just put it in so that everybody can see, because this movie did have a couple of things that were interesting. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed this stuff. I really did. And I thought and this always stayed with me. Success, it's got enemies. You can be successful and have enemies, or you can be unsuccessful and have friends. That stuck with me for a long time, because there's always this balance that you have to try to create, and try to hide things so that people don't hate. In the Spanish community, we call it mal de ojo. For example, like somebody has a new baby, they're always apprehensive on posting right away because they're afraid of bad vibes type of thing. People could just, and mind you, it kind of alludes to what you were talking about earlier with the chinchilla coat.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as, the jealousy, the hate is pretty much what got people looking at him, what got him exposed, basically. Mm-hmm. So, that quote speaks to that. And wait, there was another one. Oh, the other one is the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. That spoke to me for a long time. Like, that made me think a lot. Because when this movie came out, I was in my mid-20s, and it was just interesting because it made me think a lot about the people that I knew. And there were people that, would just do things to be super loud and be super obnoxious. And a lot of times that made it true, because all of those people that were loud and obnoxious, they just ended up getting made fun of behind their back more than anything. So I always found that to be interesting. And also, it also alludes to what you were saying earlier. Look, I mean, the guy was dressing, he was saying, like, look, you're loud. It's a costume. They're saying, arrest me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, yo. And it made a lot of sense. So that's one of the reasons why, yeah, man. I mean, that's another reason why I picked this movie, bro. This movie is, it can certainly leave an impression on you. I'll say that much. What about you guys?
I got a quote. We got one, executive?
Yeah, I did like that scene where he said the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room, because I actually feel that way at times, which is terrible because sometimes I am the loudest one in the room. But when you first meet me, I'm actually very, very quiet. Don't really say too much because I'm observing, right? But I also don't try to be too flashy, and that's one of the reasons. I always said that. So when he said that, I was like, somebody's clicking with me, right? Mm-hmm. Because I definitely believe that. You know what I'm saying? You just draw.
I personally hate that line.
I know you would. I can see why, but you're never weak, Mike. But it is true for some people, and most people, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just drawing too much attention to yourself. It's never a good thing.
I always took it personally. They say, "What, real gangsters moving silent like lasagna." I was like, "No, I don't."
Well, that's saying never made sense anyway. All right, I like this one. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where you came from. I'm a firm believer of that. Always believe that, which is why I said we all eat, right? This is how I am. It's not in my best interest to say this, Frank, but quitting while you're ahead is not the same as quitting. Most people think when you start something, you have to see it to the end. I agree with that to a certain extent. This is the reason why. If it's getting to the point where it's too much for you to achieve these goals, it's preventing you from live the kind of quality life that you deserve to live, there is no reason not to pull out. If you do not pull out, you're going to end up with a kid that you don't want, right? That, and understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a joke, and I mean that in all sincerity, right? Sometimes it's your best interest to know when to pull back, okay?
Facts.
The number one fear of people isn't dying, is public speaking. This one is good for me because, unfortunately, this is an advantage I have over a lot of people because most of the time, people do not like getting in front of a crowd and talk. I have absolutely no issue, right? So, but it always amazes me how many people are afraid of it. This is actually one of the biggest fears in America. True story, I kid you not.
Public speaking,
yeah, public speaking. A lot of people don't like it. Those are it. We doing our thumbs up, thumbs down now?
Well, I had that as my quotable as well.
So we're doing our thumbs up, thumbs down now, and I volunteer to go first. Let's go ahead and
you don't hear me.
You say you had it as your quotable.
Yeah, well, let me talk about my quotable.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to say anything anymore. Go ahead, do your thing, bro.
Damn, well, there it is. You said it. Shit, moving on.
What the hell?
The mistake. I had it in my studio where I had it. My thing. That's I can put my stuff in. That's why you didn't see it. Go ahead. It was a mistake. My man.
Am I entertained, Russell Crowe?
He's in this film.
He is definitely in this film. I've never saw this film. I did watch one scene from this film, outside the one that was actually a famous thing that people were doing on TikTok and Instagram Reels last year when they were like, from now on, you want to talk to me, you talk to Huey. Huey, you talk to me. That was some famous thing people kept doing last year. But the only scene I actually saw, ironically, was the end. The very last scene where Detective, what was the name? Roberts met up with Lucas, which for this 2.5 hour long movie was toward the last 15 minutes of the movie. It was when they finally shared the scene together. And I thought it was captivating then, but I never took time to see it. So, Vic, I will thank you for actually making me go see it because I was hooked from the very first part of it. You just made me miss my thumbs, bro. Just made me miss my thumbs. There it is. There it is. But he was playing the video, which I was talking about. Still, very, very good scene there. So when I saw that, just that very scene alone, it gave me a thumbs up. Also, shout out to the loyalty of his wife. I don't know if he was beating her ass either. They didn't show that part, but maybe she messed up one time, and because there was one scene I thought was happening. I thought it was about to show come on. He was like, "You don't leave me either." Well, okay, here it goes.
His mama, Ruby D. Shout out to the cast. She said she gonna leave you.
Yeah. So, she gonna leave after she slapped him. So that's where Frank Lucas got it from. Apple doesn't fall far.
You gave a thumbs up, Vic. Whoa, Vic.
Yeah, Vic, you actually got. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna have it for your next movie. What was your next movie?
I don't remember.
Shit. I should know these things. I made the damn graphics and the trailers for him already, but whatever. Anyway, and Vic, of course, he don't even know his own freaking movie. Shame with you, bro.
I remember this time.
I also give this movie a thumbs up. Again, I thought the cast was phenomenal. The acting was phenomenal. I was definitely nominated for Academy Award as well. Again, the director in this film, to me, the score of the movie, I don't think it could have got any better than this. And again, it just kept the line going of what I think never gets really spoken about, and that's the Bumpy Johnsons. That's the, and I know in America it's wrong for us to glorify gangsters. It really is. They're bad guys, but some of us know these gangsters, and they're not all bad people because they did bad things. If you watch General Hospital, Sonny Corinthos,
I knew you were about to mention. I'm with Robert Scorpio. I meant to call you on that anyway because I finally saw what you were talking about.
Okay, no, whatever. And just overall, so like, being from this environment, seeing this environment, knowing this environment, I thought it was very depicted. My only problem with this thing is knowing the real story. And it's like, Jesus Christ, how do you make $1 million a day and walk away with nothing? And that's because they said he snitched Now, the thing is that they said that he snitched like Rico snitched and paid in full. Where Rico said, I ain't telling nobody from Harlem, but I give you everybody else, right? Because Richie, the detective who arrested him, became his lawyer, who got his lawyers, past the bar during this investigation because he got so mad at the U.S. The government did bring these in here, and that's overlooked in this film. Again, I always like we can make fun of it, but let's educate ourselves here in this film that is educating us, right? We don't have no boats. We don't have no planes. We don't bring these drugs in. Now, do we sell it and push it? Yes, we do. We are at fault for that, but we're not bringing them here. And in most people's minds, somebody gonna sell it anyway, so why not me? And so the realness, the acting, everything about this movie is just super fragile. Espialidocious is dope, including the next movie that Vic pitched was supposed to have been my film, Social Network. So I already tell you right now, that's going to be a thumbs up, just like this movie was a thumbs up. So
I gotta find a replacement by that Thursday.
Vic, my man, your thumbs up. I know it already is. So your final thoughts, I guess.
Okay, so this movie was boss. It was fab. It was groovy. It was rad. It was bodacious. It was gnarly.
It was
the bomb.
groovy,
it was all that and a bag of chips.
Gnarly.
It was crunk. It was hot. And it was trendy.
It was fire.
Yeah, it was fire. Facts.
Oh,
it was all of those
the
things.
bomb dignity.
It was all facts. It was that too. It was fat too with a P. That's what it was. That's right. Like Fat Farm. You heard?
Pretty hot.
So every slang word you could think of to mention cool. It was a good movie. Clearly, this movie gets a thumbs up. I've seen it a million times, and I'll probably watch it again later because it's just $5,000 alpaca, $25,000 alpaca. You blot that shit.
You blot that. I watched it right before we came on. I love watching them as we about to go live and do shows. It just makes it a little bit more memorable in those scenes. But like you said, Vic, this is just one of them scenes that to this day we all talk about this. It's one of them stable scenes that's going to go forever in the day and pop culture history. Denzel Washington is that guy. But a little spoiler alert for next week's movie. I picked the movie that I did not like from Denzel Washington. And not that I didn't like Denzel Washington. When I watched it 15, 20 years ago, I didn't like it. And that's The Book of Eli. So I'm curious to see how my mind may have changed watching it now. And we will talk about it next Thursday. You I'm kind of excited about that. We can get us out. You can get us up out of here, Vic.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This was another edition of Unpopular Reviews. And there you go. Thanks. Where's the thing?
Maybe you were still talking.
No, where's the thing? I'm trying to find the outfit. Thank you. There it is.